The fulfillment of your wishes is possible here and now. Relax and give yourself up to the dance. The right partners will find each other.
Mm,
Welcome,
I like that. That was lovely.
welcome to Luna and the Druid and episode number 19, or actually 20. We did one double of The Fool's Journey. Card number 19, the Sun. And isn't that a lovely card?
Oh my goodness, it's my favorite for so many reasons, but mostly because I was born on the 19th, and Sun card is the number 19, and it so resonates with my personality that it's definitely my absolutely favorite card, and that's hard to actually pick just one, but
Yeah, we have
you
more
are
faith.
having doubts about it.
Well,
Yes, so
fortunately, yeah. Fortunately, Luna, the sun is of course always paired up with your name, Luna. So the sun and the moon together, a lovely alchemical couple, conjunction, getting together, balancing opposites, and everything. So that's a very strong force.
yeah.
Um, yeah, for myself. Uh, was a member of an Arthurian society for a long while until it disbanded. And my name there was I had to pick one of the knights of the Round Table was Pellinor, and his name is actually connected to Belinos, Bellymore, also known as the Sun. So I chose the Sun as my name, as you chose Luna as your name, and that's wonderful,
Interesting.
isn't it? Yeah,
Interesting.
interesting.
Not to mention that the sun is the masculine energy and the lunar energy is the feminine
It's the feminine. Yeah,
um,
yeah.
energy.
There's a lot of balance there.
Yeah. So the fool is moving from basking in the moonlight into the sun.
It
So
does.
let's see what he can learn from this beautiful, beautiful, and radiant card.
Yeah. Yeah, shall we have a look first and what how the sun developed as a tarot card through the ages, because there's some interesting stuff in there,
That's a
and
good idea.
I know you like this part of the show where the cards come up, and I think you probably have some cards picked as well.
Absolutely, I
Oh
do.
wow, wow! Well, I'll show my table and pick around through the ages. So
Mm.
we start on the left side where we have the Marseille Type One, uh, the Sun card, and a French deck, so it's actually called Le Soleil, and basking in the sun, in the radiance of the sun, we see two young lads, and who they are is more or less lost to history, but we know, of course, a lot of young lads. In history, Castor and Pollux, the mortal and the immortal, Romulus and Remus, the two guys who were raised by wolves from the moon, under the moonlight, and founded the city of Rome, and they're here together in the Sun card, which actually uh, has the meaning here of overcoming uh, the bad times, and now the good times are breaking there. Um, from the Golden Dawn, of course, we have the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Pamela Colman-Smith uh, decided to bring in a white horse with a baby, a naked baby on it. And the baby is carrying the red flag of victory. Um, there's a safety, there's a wall, and you see it's not a wall to keep him in, but it's a safety wall with sunflowers, of course, there. And yeah, a very lovely card. And taking it a bit further in the Druidcraft Tarot, where the young lad rides a black horse in this card, but still we come from the moonlight, from the darkness and the backside of the moon into the sunlight, and the sun obviously, like unlike the moon, doesn't have a dark side because the sun radiates in all directions. The biggest change from the beginning to this one is where we see that in the sun card in the Toth Tarot, um, it's the two dancing people are no longer two young men, but they're a couple, and that's where we have the alchemical part of conjunction, will and grace, bringing together opposites, um, dancing in the sunlight. We see the same wall we see in all the other on all the other cards, but and they're on Earth. The two discs are there, and they yeah, the card represents again freedom, overcoming all the bad cards that came before, the death card, the devil, the tower, when things collapsed and everything's now in easier water. And of course around the sun, uh, circles the zodiac, so all the signs of the zodiac are here as well. So a very lovely card. um, the modern take by Robert Place in his alchemical deck is where he actually joins Luna and Sol. Uh, the symbol on top here is conjunction, so it's um, bringing stuff together again in the alchemical process where you go from lead to gold and upgrading the material. And this card, yeah, the sun and the moon come together, and yeah, it's fine. It's a final stage in the alchemical process where from the togetherness of male and female, we as a part of alchemy, we get our offspring and stuff like that. So a very lovely um, set of cards where with different ideas and a development. Um, and we'll see in later in the show that in the lessons of the fool, all cards would have their place. Uh, so
Thank you for that. It's
you're welcome.
interesting how to see how the card changed throughout the time. I have few sun cards today as well. Um, I'll start with the Morgan Greer, who is the most traditional deck from those I brought here today, which is unlike any traditional deck at all. As you can see, we have that image of the couple, a grown up couple here, with the sunflowers were kept and the image of the sun was kept as well. Um, Moving on to another deck, Wake Me Up Tarot. We are back to the image of the child. We are back to the image of the whole horse on the carousel. We have those elements of the red flags here. So this is less traditional. However, I think the most traditional of all which are on the table. My favorite card, Lightseer Tarot, is showing an image of a woman dancing and being so joyful, free, innocent, dancing and basking in the sun. I'm not sure why the camera is not picking on the details. Let's give it a second. There it
Yeah,
is.
there it is.
She, long story short, I love it because it reminds me of me. um, Another one, interesting one, is we're back here to the image of the horse. However, we have a grown-up person here wearing a red cape. Hello, camera. It would be nice. Oh, there we are. There we are. In and the sun is in the background. There are more Slavic symbols here. And last but not least, completely different card from the Osho Tarot deck, which is the card which name is the Innocent. We can see here a wise man holding a bag. I'm not sure what kind of is that. I think that's the one which eats her male partners, which is a very interesting twist to that card. Mm,
Mm.
However, this wise man here is a completely different approach to the sun card. Um,
Oh, I love these cards you pulled, and I love the idea of where you see where well, we see young people most of the times on the sun cards. We have uh, the young adult couple and already a grown up couple in the later cards as well. So that's a trend there.
mm,
But I like the Osho deck where the old man in the card is definitely in contact with his inner child.
Yes, and we actually had a lovely conversation and discussion about it in our Monday's live,
Yeah.
where actually that was one of the points that the older we get, the more connected we are to that inner child again. So for me, that's why I like this card, because it
Yeah.
represents and
More
confirms.
sense. Yeah.
What I love is the most of those cards are very colorful, but bright yellow, orange, very fiery energy. And it brings a lot of positive energy into that card. But let's see if the lessons the fool will learn are so positive too.
Well, let's see where they are. So we have one, two, three, four, five, six lessons today. The first being joy, positivity, and enlightenment. So it's a combination of connected traits. Um, Sun card, of course, success and achievement. That's what it radiates all the times, and even the sun in the deck you showed. I've used that card as my guide here for the slide. This where she celebrates success and achievement. Of course, we go back to the reconnection with the inner child, which is very important aspect of the sun. Unity and harmony, overcoming the obstacles, and of course, being grateful for the
Mm.
warmth that the sun brings us. So, first point.
Joy and positivity.
Yeah.
Yeah, clarity and enlightenment. This there is a lot actually in that point itself. But if we look at the card, it is so joyful. If you pull a card, sun card in the reading, that signifies so many goodness coming. Even
Mhm.
if it's in reverse, this is still not negative
No.
aspect. Obviously, it points to certain directions. However, to get the sun card in the reading, that always signifies some positive aspects, positive changes
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly the lesson that we have in the last block of seven in the cards, where we go from temperance to the world, and where in the beginning we have these setbacks and we have the struggle for renewal and for rebirth, and things don't always go as they want, and we have the star and we unveil the mystery of the moon, and then boom, everything. It's like a puzzle, and all at once the end result of the puzzle becomes clear. There's just a few missing pieces, and boom, there they are. And we can celebrate now, of course. And um, that's our culture. The sun, the day of the sun, the real Sunday is the 21st of June, when the sun is at its strongest. And all over the world, from the 21st to the 23rd of June, we celebrate the the zenith, the the big day of the sun, with joy and clarity. So it signifies a lot of these aspects is in the card. So the uh, disposing the shadows, getting rid of the shadows, clear understanding, insight, yeah, the thoughts and actions all at once make sense, and we are energized by the power of the sun. We're enlightened, and we see the things as they truly are, because there's no room for shadows, just for once.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So even the darkest parts are enlightened, and yeah, a small step forward is success and achievement. And they're central themes of the sun card. We saw in the on the slide we see the the lady looking at the sun, enjoying the sun, uh, and of course she represents success and achievement. She represents not only joy, but also, like, yes, I did it. Uh, I persevered. I did hard work, and it led me to success. So the card encourages the fool to celebrate that, to celebrate the achievements, and acknowledge your own progress, the progress you made there. And the next topic, the next idea, is of course the one we see in so many of the cards, the reconnecting with the inner child. And like we said, the whole Monday episode, last Monday's episode, was about the inner child, was about reconnecting with the inner child. And um, yeah, you learn the importance of nurturing the young self. You learn the importance of embracing playfulness, allowing to experience life with curiosity and joy. So the reconnection brings a sense of wholeness, balance, but especially pure joy, like the young adult couple here that have taken off all their clothes and are dancing, getting their bums burned in the sunlight. And that's the inner child part of it. Purest joy comes from embracing this childlike sense of wonder, simplicity, the easy ideas. Um, and we notice that nature, for instance, doesn't do any effort. Nature just grows. Nature, plants don't do any effort. A tree doesn't even move. He sprouts somewhere, grows up, manifests himself in a big way, and yeah, that's all playfulness, inner childness.
And I'm glad you mentioned the aspect of simplicity, because when we're children, life is pretty simple. And that's a natural state of being. The more we grow up, the more problems we have to face. And life seems to be more complicated. However, the question is it really complicated, or is it the way we view it? Mm, but the sun card teaches us to go back into that joy and beauty of life.
It does, and seeing, like we said, looking at the world through the eyes of a child, and be in awe of all you see. And the world is still magic when you're young, and slowly but surely, society and everything takes away our magic. And yeah, well,
But only if we allow this to happen. And in
yeah,
my
well, let's,
opinion,
yeah, yeah,
it is a part of a process, absolutely.
of
But then
course.
we learn how to gain our power back and turn. Um,
That's what we do as grown-ups. Then we
yeah,
that's why we call that's why you call it to reconnect with your inner child,
yeah, and
because
that's a part of the fool's journey
yeah,
itself, though.
losing it is also a part of the journey. You
Absolutely. Oh,
that
yeah.
it's the whole part of life. It's the purpose of life is to learn and to manifest and to live it. And there's no other reason. There needs to be no other reason for life than that. And uh, come to an understanding later in life that everything is just as it has to be.
Mhm. Yeah. Moving on.
Point number 4: unity and harmony. And
Mm,
that's, of course, what we saw in the last card I showed up, where sun and moon is in conjunction. They're getting together. The sun is here, and the moon Luna is on this side. And um, yeah, it's the joining of opposites for the greater good. The
mm.
joining of opposites for one and one making three. You know.
Which is not the most obvious aspect of the sun, but there is a saying that even after the either hardest storm, rain, or whatever, the sun comes out, which always signifies the more calm, peaceful, harmonious times.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's exactly what this card represents as well.
Yeah, and how important it is. And it's not always just man and woman, like as we saw from the old card, the two men, and they represent also stuff being built. The city of Rome is being built by the two orphan brothers that were raised by wolves, and
Mm,
so, but they had a meaningful connection together, and they made it work.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a good card to get in a relationship reading because it
Oh,
signifies
definitely.
harmonious, coming together as oneness. Um,
Yeah. If you look at the Kabbalistic aspects, it's actually the sun, or the Lover's card is card number 6, and in the Kabbalah you have the number 6 in the middle of the 10 spheres, and but the number 6 also represents the sun itself, the heart of the universe, or the heart of our universe. So lovers and sun are related in that matter.
Interesting you mentioned that, because my birthday is actually on the 19th of June, which is 19th and oh 06.
6.
And I'm a Gemini. The lover's
Yes.
card is represented by
Okay.
Gemini. And with the sun card and that number 6 connected to the, oh my goodness, the universe is never, is always surprising me with correlations and aspects like this.
The
Beautiful.
serendipity, the correlations, the
Serendipity. Thank you. That was
yeah,
the word I was looking for.
the beautiful stuff the universe throws at us,
Yeah.
and it
Lovely
keeps on
synchronicity, I
giving.
have to say. Lovely synchronicity. Sorry for bringing some private stuff here, but I just could not notice that.
That's good. Yeah, and of course the fifth lesson for the full would then be overcoming the obstacles.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's an easy one. That's the whole the whole purpose of the journey is all the time you move on to the next and to the next, and all the time you fall flat in your face and have to get up again.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep showing up, and as long as you refuse to give up, you persevere, you'll always win.
Yeah, you're winning already, but in this aspect the sun will represent also that positive attitude, which sometimes is necessary. And I am not the biggest fan of the toxic positivity, where we pretend to be positive no matter what, and we tend to take what's negative or challenging away and just not to look at it, just put it under a rug. But the positivity aspect is really, really important. I mean, come on, look at this card. It's so positive. You look at it and you're smiling
Yeah,
already. And,
yeah,
and sometimes that positive attitude, that positive way of being, way of thinking, will actually move us through more difficult times as well. Because it's not all the bad, because the sun always comes out after the dark night. The sun will shine.
that's one true aspect of the sun, and that's the lesson, of course, that you just persevere, uh,
Mm,
and like you said, with a positive attitude. If you believe you can't do it, boom, you have already failed. So there is a necessity for belief, and for perseverance, and knowing I'll put my dents, or I grab this opportunity,
mm,
and I fight through the through the obstacles. I fight through the setbacks. I fight. I run into a threshold on a dead end street, but I persevere. I have a mountain. Can I go over it, or should I go around it? That's that's what that's what the fool learns, and of course, in the end, the flag of victory. The inner child carries the flag of victory, and
mm.
yeah, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's a great card.
Yeah.
And lastly, we have gratitude, which is such a beautiful aspect of what the fool learns, because the fool has been through a lot recently. We had the devil, we had the tower moment, we had
Yeah.
obviously the star, but there was the moon facing some shadows. And right now, the fool has learned that even the most challenging difficulties someday come to an end, and the fool learns to appreciate those moments of learning, of challenges, because obstacles are actually opportunities to learn something new. There's no such a thing as mistake. This is the opportunity to learn something new, because if we don't grow, we actually die. Because if we don't go forward, we move backward. So it's an interesting aspect, actually, of the fool's journey and the lesson from the sun card.
Yeah.
That's so crucial and so important.
And also so nice to notice that just a few weeks ago, the day that I wasn't available, you you presented such a lovely episode about gratitude,
Yeah.
about being grateful. Oh, and of course, that we also learn in our life lessons, our coaching lessons of manifestation, that sometimes uh, visualizing an idea, feeling as if you already have it, feeling the gratitude for having for the result even before you even started will make the manifestation so much easier. So
Mm,
gratitude is also a very strong emotion to get the universe on your side and to help you overcome all the challenges that you're facing. And uh, and so it's not only the achievements gained, but it's also being grateful for the achievements you're about to gain.
yeah. It's a magic ingredient, which can change the way you feel in seconds. And I already said it many times. You can't be fearful and grateful at the same time. So if there is something you're going through, instead of focusing on being anxious, focus on something you can be grateful for, and in few seconds you will change the way you feel, and that will change the way you look at the problem.
Yeah, and Tom, so good that you mentioned this moment of fear and anxiety, because the fool's journey is often related to Joseph Campbell's hero's journey. And what is a hero? Is a hero someone who's not afraid? No, the hero uh, can be the most afraid of all of us because he knows what's coming, but still he rises to the challenge.
And you mentioned the word rise, and I already shared once the definition of fear, which is false experience appearing real.
Yep,
Or there is another aspect we could look at it: rise face everything and rise.
boom,
Yeah, I
rise.
love that definition. It's
Yeah,
very empowering.
that's a
Um, is- Fear is a natural emotion,
yeah,
and it's important because there is a signal from our body which wants us to pay attention to something. But fear can be overpowering. But
yeah.
that's not about the fool. What the fool learns right now, because the
From the
fool
sun. Yeah,
learns the bounty of overcoming that emotion.
yeah. And that's also we already see that we're getting to the end. Look, there's still two cards to go in the major arcana, but we already see that the fool has had the big challenges in life. There might be some ideas coming, but the worst is over now, and the fool's journey uh, becomes the hero story.
Yeah, every time the sun rises, it's a new day, new opportunity.
It
And
is.
and that's what the fool is facing right now.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's embracing. What is he embracing to finalize? Joy, clarity, success, vitality, innocence, innocence and confidence, unity, resistance, and gratitude. He navigates the journey with a heart full of light and a spirit ready to shine brightly.
Yeah. Yes, if only we would be looking at the world like we did when we were children, this would be a totally different place.
Yeah. Well, we try, Luna. We try. We do magical stuff in stone circles with drums and doggies running around. we we're playful,
Yeah, absolutely.
playful.
Especially when you take a puppy to a stone
Ah,
circle.
everything. Puppies. Uh, they challenge you to be playful,
Oh,
and
I've learned so much from my puppy
yeah,
how to have fun.
yeah.
And with that,
Same as here this morning. We had two. We have. every Thursday morning we have two people with some disabilities to work here. And when the sun came out, we took our two dogs. They're not puppies anymore, but they have toys. And the four of us and the two dogs, we've been playing and throwing and having so much fun. And then the donkeys that are in the same field, they decided to join up.
Mm,
They stampeded together with the dogs through the field, and it was just magic. So I
yeah.
embrace the playfulness.
Joy is contagious. When you hear somebody laughing, you will at least turn your attention to it. And I can guarantee that if the person will laugh long enough, you will join eventually, just because it's such a beautiful emotion to spread.
It's the best emotion ever.
Yeah.
So
And with that said, thank you very much for being here today with us. Our
uh,
series is slowly coming to an end. So let's meet next week over a judgment card.
maybe over the judgment card, but this was Here Comes the Sun, and it's all right.
Who's the sun?
See you soon. Bye bye.